John has a burning passion for his creative work and dreams of sharing his unique vision with the world. But he constantly second guesses every decision, paralysed by the fear that his ideas aren't good enough. If only he could silence that inner critic and confidently bring his creations to life. It's so frustrating, isn't it? When all you want to do is create amazing content and share your gift with the world. But that negative voice in your head just doesn't shut up. And as a creator, that's exactly what I experienced. I'd always start off a project feeling good and then criticise myself into giving up, and I was sick and tired of it. My productivity was suffering and I knew this wasn't sustainable, but what I did next would change my life forever. So what did I do? This might seem ridiculous, but I had to fight back against this monster in my life. I had to start being kinder to myself. This was a hard pill for me to swallow because I've always been hard on myself. But this comes naturally to us creative types, because we're so passionate about what we do, but what can be our greatest strength can also be our biggest weakness. But don't think that being kinder to yourself is really enough. Unless you understand why, then you'll always be stuck in this vicious cycle. I want you to imagine that you're at work right now. Your job requires a lot of creative energy and focus, but your boss is telling you that you're not good enough, that you're underperforming. He's always so hard on you because he thinks that this is going to get more work out of you. If you had a boss like him, would you feel more motivated? Does it inspire you to work harder for him? Of course not. So why do you treat yourself the same way? When you feel good, you perform good. When you feel bad, you perform bad. It's easier said than done though. It's not as simple as just appreciating yourself more. If you don't do it the right way, you can make yourself feel even worse than before. Now imagine that you have a boss who's really supportive. When you do something good, he acknowledges it. He makes you feel valued and understood. In an environment like this, just imagine the sense of team spirit. Of course his employees are going to get things done. So I've taken on a similar approach in my life. One thing that I've started doing is journaling every day. It lets me get my feelings out of my system and allows my emotions to breathe. I'll sit down for 15 minutes and write whatever feelings are on my mind, regardless of how big or small they are. And here's the thing, I don't follow any strict rules. I literally just write whatever's on my mind, whatever I'm feeling. And usually I'll start with the more negative feelings. But the key is what I do after this. I try to reframe these thoughts into a more positive mindset, or I'll start to remind myself of my strengths and achievements to prove that I'm not as bad as I think I am. I'll give you an example. Recently I was having a really bad day because my YouTube channel wasn't performing as well as I'd hoped. But when I sat down to journal, I reminded myself that I'm trying a new style of video that I've never done before. And not just that, but I've changed my audience altogether. It's completely natural to not know everything. I also would acknowledge that stepping out my comfort zone is an achievement in itself. And honestly, this shift in perspective made me feel better almost immediately. But maybe you don't believe me about the power of journaling. Or maybe you're thinking, that's great, but is journaling really the only way? No, not all. I found meditation and breath work to be incredibly helpful in combating self-doubt. Doing these things help to center my mind and remind myself that things aren't as bad as I'm letting myself believe. They take me back to the present moment instead of my thoughts just circling over the negativity. I want to share with you some of the amazing benefits I'm now starting to see after doing this. Ever since I've started journaling every day, I found that my mood is way happier. I'm sleeping more, I'm more productive. Life is just so much more positive for me. I find myself waking up feeling refreshed, and I'm now sticking to tasks that I'd previously abandoned. But most importantly, I've eliminated my self-doubt. Gone are the days of crippling self-criticism, because now I'm creating amazing works that I can actually be proud of. And the biggest change? I find myself stressing way less about the what ifs or what other people might think about my work. Instead, I can focus on the task at hand and just get things done. So you're almost ready to beat this demon once and for all. But even if you slay this beast, he's going to call his friend for backup. You might have heard of him. His name is Anxiety. If you'd like me to make a video on how to beat him, then be sure to leave a like and a comment. Love you bro, bye.